If you're always encountering the price objection in your practice, I made this video just for you. On this video, I'm going to show you 3 key ways to overcome the price objection without relying on a script. If you follow even 2 of these strategies, your price objections will disappear and you'll have a much easier time rebooking patients. But before we begin, my name's Phil. I'm a health sales and business architect, and I've been selling health products and services for the last decade. My health clients do over 200K a year as health professionals, and I want to help you do the same. Now let's get into the video. Before we get into the strategies that will minimize price objections, first, the best thing for you to understand is if you rely on a script to overcome a price objection, we've already lost half the battle. See, ideally, most price objections should be solved before they even talk to you about their purchasing decision. And the analogy I want you guys to think is most people who walk into a Ferrari or Lamborghini dealership are already expecting to pay a high price. It's unlikely that they're going to haggle on price that much, and even if they do, they have every intent to buy. There's only 2 reasons you walk into a Ferrari dealership. You go there to try the car for free as a troll, or you want to buy one and you just want to see whether it's the right choice. You don't shop for a Ferrari in the same way that you might shop between a Corolla, Mazda 3, or a Honda Civic. And so what I want you to remember for the rest of this video is buyer intent. The easiest way to solve the price objection is to attract people who are looking to buy from you instead of comparing you as a commodity. And this brings us to point 1, which is price transparency, or to list your prices. A lot of clinics and health professionals are afraid of listing their prices because it might scare the patient away. And there is truth to this. However, it's also an advantage because what most businesses miss is who you're scaring away. If you price yourself above what everyone else is pricing, so let's just say you believe your services are worth $150 over $130, you will scare away people who want to get based off a $130 consult. But who you're also scaring away is people who are making their purchasing decision or their buyer intent based off their price and not based off the value. And that's good. Why? Because those who base their health decisions on price are more likely to jump ship when a better deal comes along, and they're most likely to drop out earlier in your treatment plans because they always focus on the price they pay or are continuing to pay. Now who's left? The people at 130, they're gone. What's left is people who are willing to consider paying 150. Now these people, they're not purchasing off you because you price higher, but they're not letting the price deter them from whether it's going to be the right decision. For example, many people will buy domestic made products for a higher fee compared to an international product because they might not like the foreign government. Another example would be somebody might prefer to pay $30 to $40 more for a jacket with the Nike logo than for the exact same jacket but without the logo. And so these buyers, the people who aren't necessarily afraid of paying a little bit more, I call these people value-based buyers, where the pricing is still a consideration, but they're happy to pay the difference because they believe that they get better value. Because if you really break down the fee, $150 minus $130 is still only $20 difference. And so if they believe your brand is trustworthy, strong, and more likely to get them a better result, a $20 difference isn't a big deal. And that brings me to my second point, which is you need to build the perception that you are very, very high value. And fundamentally, most clinicians get this part completely wrong. They talk about their 10-year experience, they talk about their qualifications, they get a master's in something and claim this justifies their higher price point. And look, to some people it does. However, to most, it doesn't. Because all of these things are replicable. There are multiple people with 10-year experience, there are multiple people with qualifications you can buy in a weekend course, and there are many people now who have a master's degree. So all these 3 qualifications, they're easily duplicated, and there are so many people out there who all have this kind of repertoire. So what exactly builds the perception that you are a premium high-value clinic? It's not about what you know, it's about how you make the patient feel. So let me go back to an example. Does the Ferrari dealership talk about the amount of time they spend innovating their engine? Do they talk about how it goes from 0 to 100 in less than a second? Do they talk about how they have great airbags or great turns? No. Whenever you hear Ferrari, what you hear is rich, premium, and success. And so in our field, what we want to do is when people see your stuff, from the website to your social media channels to the problem you solve, you want to showcase success, high value, authority, and expertise. For example, the value in a website isn't in the appointment booking. That's just something that you have to do, but it's in the design. If it looks good, it makes patients feel a certain way. So when they see your 150 to 160 price point, they'll think, oh, this design, it makes sense. In the same ways, if your social media channels are full of value, they're helpful, and they immediately give impactful content that the customers can feel the difference by using your content, they'll be far more likely to see you for a $30 to $40 difference compared to someone who hasn't got anything of value on their page. Now, let's say on the front end, people believe in your product and service, and they're willing to come in at the transparent price of $140, $150, $160, maybe even $200. But when they walk in, does it feel premium? Does the consult feel premium? Does the building or the interior design, does that feel premium? Is there a nice, clean, cool waiting area? Are you guys on time? Is there friendly reception team? Is the appointment itself actually really good? Are your skills up to scratch? And then there's the moment they meet you. When people speak with you, are you able to listen intently and reply to them without stuttering your words? Do you seem incredibly confident? Do you actually have a product where they leave the session feeling like, oh wow, that really makes sense. I want to come back for more. Because in order to successfully have higher prices over the long term, you need to be high value long term. So you can't just raise your prices or charge high and expect your business to succeed. You actually need to have the backup and the foundation to be able to charge higher prices in the long term. And this brings me to the last point, which is the most counterintuitive thing you could do to reduce price objections is to raise your prices. Because if you charge somebody $30 to $40 more than everyone else in the area, then you scare away the people who are basing their decisions on price. And because you've created a front end that sends off a premium feel and you're transparent with fees, the people who choose you are completely aware of how much it's going to cost. But if they book in, they choose you anyway. And so you stop competing as a commodity. And when you start sending a signal to the market that you price higher, people automatically assume that what you offer is better. So people who want a bargain, they're not going to see you anymore. But people who want value, who want really, really good competence, they're going to be more interested in learning about what you do. Because if you have everything organized well and they book in, the people are already prepared to pay you for your fee before they've even met you for the first time. And because the value, and because they're willing to pay a higher value initially, they're most likely not that price sensitive. And so if they have a long-term treatment plan where they need to consult with you several times, they're far more likely to stay as well. But let me be clear again, if you want to charge high, everything you need to do from the website to the way you talk to them, to the way you deliver, to the follow-up process, to everything in your business, it needs to be incredibly high value. So to recap, if you want to reduce price objections without having to rely on a script, here's how you do it. Number one, list your prices transparently. This is to remove people who see you as a commodity and not as value. It'll also attract people who like you based off what you do, not what you price. Number two, create value in every aspect of your business. This is to justify your pricing in the long term. We want people to feel like every session made sense for that price. And number three, raise your prices. Pricing yourself above market rate removes market comparison. And as long as you have a premium product, over time, your pricing will stand and your quality of service will only improve. And that's it for how you overcome price objections. And look, before you go, if you want to work together to grow your business, you can book in a free 30-minute strategic call in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Bye.